Good morning. This is Zhane Baylor. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for taking the time out for this interview. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, if I could just start from the beginning of your career, the first question I wanted to ask is, how did you originally, how were you originally inspired to get into a career in recording music?
Let's see. Well, I have to take you all the way back to the beginning, to childhood. My father was pastor of Second Baptist Church, or in the town that I grew up in New Jersey, and that was one of my first musical experiences, along with the fact that my mom had a piano at the house, so she played the piano, and I started to gravitate toward the piano as well. And when I guess I was listening to that old show, Mickey Mouse, MICKUILUSC, and I went and picked that out on the piano. So my mom said, "Oh, I gotta get her in piano lessons." And that's how I got started. I started piano lessons. I started singing in the little bitty children's choir at church, and it was just I was just inclined to be attracted to music. So that was the very, very beginning.
Okay. So when did you originally meet, the other half of Zhane, Renee, and how did you guys decide to form a group and, go into music?
We met in college at Temple University in Philadelphia, and we just met, hanging out with a group of girls, and the radio was on, and we kind of started singing together, and so that's when we realized we sang and we both heavily involved in music, and both played the piano and wrote songs, so we started kind of hanging out in the music building and doing those things, and then we actually started doing some performances together on campus at talent shows and such, and that's how we started coming together, singing and
Yeah.
playing
Okay.
together and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. And is it true that one of the group's first recordings was on the DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince Ring My Bell record from their home base
Yes, that
album?
is true.
Yeah. Can you give me
That is
the
true. We were
yeah.
featured on the Ring My Bell, the old Anita Ward original, on his Summertime album. So somebody introduced us to Jazzy Jeff while we were in college, and kind of started doing some things with him. So that was the main time that it got recorded there and released.
Okay. And another collaboration I know you guys had early on was with Queen Latifah and also KG from Naughty by Nature. What type of role did they play in your guys' careers? If you could go into that.
Well, it really jump-started everything. I mean, the song with Jazzy Jeff, that was great to get recorded, but it didn't really jumpstart too much after that. So there was a gentleman who took us up to some of the record companies in New York, and the one that stuck was Flavor Unit.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Latifah's, management company at the time, turned record label, and that's when we started to work with KG at Naughty by Nature, because he was looking for a girl group. So it really worked out well from there. He was looking for a girl group. We're looking to do an album, and that's where Hey Mr. DJ was created during that time. We were still in our very last year of college, so we would go up to the studio on the weekends, and we would come back home and go to school, and that's when Hey Mr. DJ was created, along with most of the first album. And graduation was in '93, May of '93, and I finished up school, and then moved up to New York and got started with everything, finishing up the album, and starting to do promo dates and that kind of thing, and then that's how it all got started from there. We signed our deals through KG in Motown at the time.
Cool. You mentioned "Hey Mr. DJ." That's one of your guys' most memorable songs, what you're known for. But when you guys recorded the song, did you expect it to become as big as it did?
No, we didn't have too many expectations. We were just kind of going with the flow, And we know that we like the song, and I remember saying, hey, we like it, so probably somebody else will like it too. And they did.
Yeah.
Turned into a classic.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. So, as for the group, what would you say is the main reason that made you guys go on your separate ways?
That was really my decision. I decided that I was ready to, get back to exploring music on my own as an individual. We had a lot of musical influences, both Renee and I, before we got into the group, and it was just hard to kind of be creative enough, have the space to, express yourself in that way in a group setting. So we did the 2 albums, and 2 albums in 7 years, and I was just ready to step away from the group
Yeah.
and start doing music on my own again, and feeling like I would have the creative freedom to kind of write and sing, what I wanted to do. So.
Okay. Let's talk about your solo album, Testimony, My Life Story, which is available now. What was your inspiration, behind the recording of this album?
Inspiration, I left the group in 2000, and then for about 6 or 7 years after that, I stepped away from the industry and was able to just take some time for myself. But during that time, I had had some life changes, and I really, growing up in church and everything like that, and stepping away from that. During that time, I was able to reflect and make the decision to really get close to God and, look for Him, that kind of thing. So that's in a sort of way, that's what the album is about. It's just a life testimony in general. A lot of times people say put God first, but when you really do that, He works in wonderful ways and brings things into your life that are great and reflect Him. So, and that's really happened. I got married during that time, which was great, and have just been kind of, staying on that trail ever since. So it was testimony, my life story.
Yeah.
I guess that's the testimony.
Okay. And since so much time had passed between the group's last album and your album here, did you always have plans to continue making music, or was there ever a time when you thought you might go in a different direction?
No, I always had plans of making music. That was the whole point, really, just wanting to have the freedom to make the music that I wanted to make.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I always knew that I would do something. I was working on music during that time at home, and, writing with different people and doing some song placements with other groups and artists. But I just hadn't, actually completed the album or any cohesive work. So,
Yeah.
but when I got married, my husband and I really started doing some songs together, and it just worked out from there.
Okay, cool. So how would you compare the creative and recording process of being a solo artist as compared to being a part of the group?
It's different. Some of it's the same, some of it's different. The semantics of having to go in the studio and write and be creative are the same. But the main difference is a certain kind of freedom as a solo artist, and not being attached to a major label. That was a big part of it as well, because the label always wanted us to go in a particular direction that wasn't really reflective of my personal writing and singing style. So, that was the biggest difference, just being able to go in and just kind of go with what you feel and what you think, as opposed to what you think the label wants to hear and what the label thinks that the public wants to hear. That's probably the biggest difference for me.
Okay. So, can you talk to me a little bit about your single "Morning Time" and just give me some background on it and the inspiration for it?
Sure. Morning time. Joy will come in the morning. That's really taken. The lyrical content is taken from a biblical stanza where it talks about your joy coming in the morning. Basically, the idea that we all go through things in life, tough life situations, and the trick in going through them is really getting through them. And a lot of times, if you can, there's a saying that says, if you can make it through the night, you'll be fine. And so the night is kind of symbolic of those rough, dark times where it's difficult to maneuver. Because it's, a lot of times you find yourself in a place of uncertainty where you've never been there before and you're just trying to find your way out of it. But just sticking with it and just that development of strength and character in those dark times that brings you through into that symbolic morning where, you feel like you can breathe again and things are working in smoothly. But that's basically what that song is about, just kind of making it through your tough time.
Okay, cool. Do you have a favorite song on this album, and if you had to pick one, and why would that be?
I have a favorite song. I don't know. I like "Come Go With Me" a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a nice, easy song. I love the string arrangement in that song. I kind of like the little pop feel to it, and I think it's a beautiful melody, very strong melody. It's been a very melody-driven songwriter.
Yeah.
So I guess I would say "Come Go With Me," and then the B side of "Morning Time" is very dear to my heart too, and that has really inspired and blessed a lot of people, especially on YouTube. There's a video there, more like a live video of me singing and playing the piano, and it's very nice. It's a slow down version of "Morning Time," and it's over 80,000 views now. People really like it. It inspires them at certain points in their life. So that's a big thing for me if I can do that for someone.
Cool. Very cool. What has the reception been like from your fans and from music fans in general on this album? And have you found that fans of Zhane have kind of been waiting around for you to release new music? Tell me about that.
Yeah, they seem to be out there, ready and willing to listen. It's sometimes it's tough to get through all of them in a small, short amount of time, but they're out there and they're listening, and they're wanting good music, and so we just do our best to try to get it out to them through the internet options that are available to us.
Yep. Cool. So looking forward, into the future, what plans do you have going forward in terms of your music career? How long do you hope to keep recording music? That type of thing.
I hope to do it for the rest of my life. I mean, that's my passion. It's really the gift that God has given me, one of the gifts God's given me. So I certainly would like to use it to its fullest potential. And so we're just, hoping and praying for more opportunities for that, to do more performances, touring, and things like that. So all the things cost money. So, it's not the easiest thing to maneuver without the backing of a major label, but people do it. So, I would like this to be a lifelong career.
Okay. And, I'm sure some of your fans would like to know, do you think there's ever a chance for a reunion with Zhane, or are you past that? What do you think?
Everybody asks that. I mean, you never know. It's not really what I'm focused on right now, but you never know what may happen in the future.
Okay, no problem. Do you have a favorite song that, if you had to pick one from at the time you recorded as part of Zhane, or maybe something that immediately comes to mind or stands out, and take me through that?
Not really. 4 Reasons, probably one of my favorites, because it seemed to help a lot of people. It was a song that I wrote on the first album, and it was very slow piano, just piano, vocal, ballad, but people loved it. It's saying everything happens for a reason. It's another one of the songs that has gotten people through some really, really tough times in their life. People would come to me and tell me all kinds of stories and scenarios that they were dealing with that song helped them through. So I'll probably say that song.
Okay, cool. And that's all the questions I had for you. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Only that people can go and check out the album and buy it at www.thejams.com. D like David, AJAMS.com.
Okay, cool. I'll make sure to get that on there as well. Uh,
All right,
thank,
thank you.
thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much, and you have a good day.
Thank you, you too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.